Good morning, it's Tess, and today's tip 211, and I'm going to talk about making peace with food. And I think that's going to look different for all of us. That topic kind of came to mind because Intuitive Eating is a book that I recently bought. AC from the Tribe is going to be working on a book club in the WLS journey that John Clark has put together. It's a Facebook page. I'll actually look for that and I'll tag it in this if anyone wants to join, because I think he accepts everyone. Most of us from the tribe are in there, but when I was looking through this book, because I haven't really started reading it yet, but that idea of making peace with food hit me as a topic that I think is really important. And I think it's important for me because right now my journey looks different because I'm making peace with some of the decisions that I've had to make to control weight loss. There are certain foods that I just don't eat. And I think making peace looks different for all of us. In my case, making peace means there are certain things I just don't invite in. And I don't invite them in because historically I've not been able to control them. So I just don't invite them in. And they're things for me like anything that looks fancy dessertish, like ice cream and cake, I just don't invite it in. Some people can manage it. I can't. I'm happy for those that can. But for me, I made a choice as to where I have a goal that if I eat that stuff, I don't want it to feel good. I want it to make me feel bad. I want it to make me feel polluted with garbage. Only because I know that for too many years of my life, I lived off of the processed heavy sugar, heavy fat foods, and I know that I feel better if I don't eat those foods. So I guess that's kind of why, like I'm going to be part of the book club with AC, because I want to, at this point in my life, I want food to be about nutrition and about feeling good. And my niece and nephew both inspire me that way because as young as they are in their lives, they're looking at food differently in a way that allows them to fuel their body instead of for it being a treat that we're regretting when we don't get it. So I guess really, I know I'm not going to go real long today because, well, it's just been a busy time, but that idea of looking at your food in a different way and using your self-talk in a different way, I think that's going to be so important as we go forward, because so many times when I hear people talking about weight regain and how difficult it is to lose weight, I find that what they're doing is they're attaching to food in a way that doesn't support their journey. They become feeling like a lack if they don't get to eat the cookie, if they don't get to eat the ice cream. And they don't have that same attachment to feeling good. They don't have that same attachment to being healthy. And that's the one thing I'm trying to do this time, is I'm trying to recognize and totally own how good it feels to fuel properly, how good it feels to be healthy, because I know how it felt not to be healthy. I may have told everybody in the world how happy I was. Well, hi there. Good morning, Rachel. And I know, like at a BMI of 60, I told everybody I was happy, but I truly wasn't happy. And I am very interested in getting into this intuitive reading book, just because in anything that we read and learn, there's going to be some things that help us and some things that don't. But I do know that in this journey, I've really had to shift how I think about food. For too long, I looked at it as a scarcity thing. How can I not live without my favorite treat? How can I not, it's not fair to ask me not to have that. And I never ever looked at, was it fair for me not to feel good? Was it fair for me to be sitting on the sidelines watching everybody participate? It's really basically down to that one question. What's more important? Do you want to be active with your family, with your children, with your grandchildren? Do you want to be active? Do you want to be involved? Do you want to feel good? Or do you want to be eating the foods that don't support you living your life to the fullest? I think it even goes all back to things we've been talking a lot lately about, like marketing. I'm never going to beat up a marketer because they have jobs to do, and it's our job to understand that, and we have to educate ourselves. And I know the commercials are pretty. We all know, and we get angry that Camel cigarettes, and again, I'm just trying to use an example, but Camel put these made these little scenes look good to try to get people to smoke cigarettes. Well, if we know that's happening in like smoking, why do we think it's not happening with food? And at some point, we have to become responsible and say, hey, what am I willing to do to try to make my life better? Am I going to continue? You know, Tom's on. Hi, Thomas. Thomas is on, and he recently in a group coaching we had with Chris Nagle was talking about the Keurig and how there's like molds and stuff in the wires. Well, it's so funny that, you know, all the things that we need to know are hard to pull out and find, but the stuff that really doesn't support us is advertised in such a way that we're drawn into it. And I know for me, I'm really trying every day to learn to recognize the decisions in the past that I made that hurt my journey going forward. And one of them is I was sucked into all the poor me if I can't have a donut, poor me if I can't have an ice cream, poor me if I can't have a pop. And the thing is, I'm nearly 5 years out. I don't eat ice cream. I mean, at all. I mean, not even once, because I know that I didn't manage it very well. I don't eat the cakes and sweets. I don't drink the pop because I know it's bad for me based on my surgery. And really at this point, I don't feel the lack anymore. I've been able to disconnect from the lack. Is it easy? No. It was really hard in the beginning. Yeah, messes with your brain. And the thing is, I think all the foods, anything that we're eating that's not supporting the health of our body is damaging something somewhere. And I want to take the steps to move forward and be healthier. So that's part of like why I'm in the Dog Feed Challenge, why I'm involved with all these tribe members to try to learn things, because Thomas picked up on something that I didn't know. Rachel picks up on things I don't know. Kate picks up on things I don't know. And if we each, like the challenge talks about how we come together as a group, and if we all learn something and we share it with someone else in the group, we can move forward faster. And I thought it was interesting when this book was saying about our relationship with food. And our relationship with food, if we ended up, in my case, a BMI of 60, was not a healthy. And I had to learn how to disconnect with what the marketers told me, how I deserved to feel good by eating these desserts. And I had disconnected with, at the bottom of the day, I didn't feel good with those foods. I wasn't mobile. I wasn't active. My brain wasn't sharp. I missed out on a lot of opportunities. I mean, there were times that because the sugar highs and lows would make you fall asleep, I missed events, you know, things that were important. And I'm going to try every day to learn something more. You know, I was thinking about it this weekend, but I was able to buy some peaches that were fairly inexpensive because they're in season right now. So if you like peaches, go out and get some because they're very tasty. And I was eating the peaches this weekend, and I went back and I was thinking about it. And pre-surgical, all my fruits I was adding sugar to because I didn't think they were sweet enough. And that was a marketing thing because we all see that. I had gotten used to the fancy desserts and the 30, 60 grams. And in some of those smoothies, like if you drive through a smoothie place and you buy a smoothie, they can have an upwards of 30 to 60 grams of sugar in it. And no, they don't advertise it. If you want it without sugar, you got to say no sugar added. So I think that we have to be the advocate for ourselves, and we have to try to revisit our relationship with food so that we recognize that just because historically we've thought that we were at a place of lack when we couldn't have a cookie or we couldn't have the ice cream or we couldn't have the dessert, what we were doing is we were living a life of lack on being active, on being involved, and on being sharp, mentally sharp. So I will tag John Clark's weight loss group because I think I'll check with them, but I think anybody can join. And AC has got this intuitive eating book, and she's going to actually go over it in her in John Clark's group for a book club. But it's just really interesting because we really have to get back to our brains and look at how we're associating things and reconnect it. Because in essence, what we're doing is we're clogging the pipes in our brain, just like we know that the mold is clogging the brains in the Keurig, like Thomas was talking about. And it's time that we got back to what's important to us. We can't let an advertiser tell us what we want. And we have to let go of that kind of like monkey brain or that child brain that goes, well, I deserve to have the cookies. I deserve to have the cake. Yeah, at one point, that's what I thought. But now I want the health. I don't want to be a burden to anybody as I get older. I want to be as quick and as sharp and as healthy as I can possibly be. And that's my wish for all of you. So I will put John Clark's group in here, and anyone who wants to join it, because it is intuitive eating that AC is going to start like a book club in his group on. And it's just a chance to kind of learn and maybe to identify where maybe you have a broken thought, or maybe it's a thought you just want to improve as you go forward. I myself don't drink coffee. I had the Keurig for being beneficial to those who come to visit me, but I would never want to cause them anything illness because I didn't understand. So my goal for all of you is a day with a little bit of learning, and a day that you've enjoyed, and a day that you can go out and be proud of the success and the accomplishments that you're making. Thank you guys so much for always supporting me. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I will go live in Doc V's group tonight. I believe today is going to be his last day that the challenge is open. And I will put John Clark's group in here also, so that anyone who wants to join can join, because people do lives in there, and it gives us a chance to communicate. And if AC is going to do a book club, it gives us all a chance. AC, can you tag me, please? I'd like to join your group. And I think she's going to actually do it in John Clark's weight loss group. So I'll actually kind of tag it through there, because learning is a great tool. You can decide what you're going to apply to your life and what you're not going to apply to your life, but we all deserve the knowledge to be able to make the decision for ourselves, not have somebody else telling us what to do. We deserve to be able to make that decision for ourselves, so the consequences are ours to own, not to pass on to someone else. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and thank you so much. I hope you produce everything that you want, and that you find some beautiful things to remember as you go through your journey today. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.